Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
So, Will, you're introing us.
What?
Hello and welcome to TCG Talk. My name is Jacob, and I am back yet again, not with Dalton.
Woo! It's me this time.
Dalton and I just never seem to do episodes together anymore.
Yes.
It's Will.
Yeah, man, it's me, Will.
And Will and I have decided that we will discuss Chrono Clash. Because I don't know if you know this, but it's not going very well, is it?
Nah, not as good as I hope.
We've actually done an episode previously, quite a while ago, where we talked about the game 1 year in, checked in on it.
Right. Yeah.
And we had some pretty negative thoughts about it. And literally nothing's changed since then.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So let's start this off, though, by talking about how much both of us love Chrono Clash.
I love it.
I love it. I want it to have my firstborn child.
You don't know how much money I dropped on that, especially the Naruto one, to get all the foil EXs so I didn't have to buy those special sleeves for the jumbo ones.
Let's start this off. Be totally clear. Chrono Clash is one of the best games of all time.
Yeah, it's better than Pokemon.
But it sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'd like to say I was telling the truth. But.
It's so much of a shame. Chrono Clash, pure gameplay-wise, in a vacuum, is borderline perfection.
Yeah, I loved it. It was super fun. It was different.
It's one of those games that's going to be ripped off for the next decade.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the next generation Duel Masters.
Yeah.
Where Duel Masters was just, well, we need a new card game. Let's take Duel Masters and do it again.
Another one.
So that's what I see happening. Unfortunately, we are recording this a little bit in advance. Sometimes we do that because we don't live right next to our studio, so we travel to get here to record, and sometimes we record them in advance. So we're recording this probably 2-3 weeks before it goes out. Sorry, fam, just being honest here.
Right, sorry if my jokes don't age well.
Knowing that, and knowing our history with whenever we do episodes in advance, the game will probably be canceled before this episode.
Hopefully not, but if it does, I'm not surprised.
Man, Chrono Clash was/is/will be remembered as an extremely innovative game that was mismanaged to an even more extreme degree.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could disagree, but it's not what the Carfax has to say.
And thanks, Will.
You're welcome, buddy.
And then you Chrono Clash fans out there already know all of the details about the various controversies, or as the British say, controversies?
That's not a word, dude.
Cool.
It's controversy.
Yeah.
Fight me.
But we're going to briefly go over them and then talk about what could have been done different.
Right.
So let's talk about the single biggest how could you mess this up so bad thing. After we got the Naruto cards, which were a relative success, they sold fairly well. I don't know how much of that was people actually hyped for Chrono Clash versus, oh, sweet, new Naruto cards.
I think it was more Naruto. Like, people who already liked card games, probably maybe even some people who played the CCG from when that was a thing.
Yeah.
But it was more so just Naruto content.
Yeah, I would say that was the primary reason it sold fairly well.
Yeah, and I think that's the best-selling one. I don't know for sure.
I would hazard a guess it is the best-selling set. And then Godzilla was announced, and it started to come out. And then they go, oh, by the way, you can't play these against each other.
Yeah, that upset me a lot.
What's the point of calling it the Chrono Clash System?
Yeah, don't call it a system. But then they were like, oh wait, it's they're using a system but for different IPs. but then they can't play against each other. So it's kind of like,
Man, say what you want about Schwartz.
I was just gonna say, it's like if Schwartz, each standalone IP could only play with each other, yet they hosted one big tournament.
Oh, it's so...
Like for the regionals.
This decision alone was enough to drastically slash the momentum of the game.
Yeah, I think that was the first nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
There are going to be more nails. Nail number 2 is a drop-off in interest in the IPs.
Yeah.
So Naruto was a big get.
Yeah.
Big get.
Yeah, for sure.
Godzilla, I know a lot of hardcore Godzilla fans, but most hardcore Godzilla fans aren't already into card games.
Right, yeah. So it's got to hit both nails. Like,
so
both
it's
points.
a little bit more niche. Ironically, I think it would have done better if it came out after Magic the Gathering's Ikoria set.
Oh, yeah.
Had
If it came out
Godzilla
around
cards.
the same time, yeah.
That would have been kind of cool.
Right.
But it came out first. I think you did... where Naruto... You saw a lot of Naruto fans go out and buy it. You also saw a lot of casual card game fans go out and buy it.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of casual Naruto fans. Godzilla, you only really got people who are interested in Chrono Clash or people who are hardcore fans of both. For the next set we got, which was the next IP we got, which was Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Right.
I don't think anyone bought it.
I mean, I have it.
It's
but
cool.
That's not
But
saying that much about anything.
The problem here is, don't get me wrong, Neon Genesis Evangelion's an incredible anime, but it's a cult classic.
Right, yeah, like...
It's not that big of a get IP-wise.
Right, like, people know it, but there's a difference between people knowing it and people liking it.
Right, being... Not just liking it, because, like, there are tons of things I like that I'm not going to instantly buy if I see it on the store shelves.
Right, exactly.
You need to be a hardcore fan of it.
Right, to just see it and buy it.
Yeah. And then... Nothing.
Yeah, no, it was kind of... They went silent. It doesn't help with...
They even did more Naruto stuff.
Yeah,
to fill in the gap.
that I thought was... I thought would be good for the game because they were expanding on the set. So I was like, oh, then they'll release a Godzilla expansion decks, and then Neon Genesis expansion decks, and then they would just keep doing that every so often with the newer IPs, but nothing was announced after that.
There was
expansions.
They literally ghosted us.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed. Every week I checked their official Facebook page because they like the head developer, he was very active on there with answering questions.
It was amazing. Initially, I thought Chrono Clash did community outreach better than many card games.
Oh yeah, I was surprised because you don't hear much of anything from Bushiroad for Buddy Fight, which is my first like big card game. And then it was such a refreshing change to see the developers actually take an interest on what the community had to say or what like their thoughts on.
And then all of a sudden a wall was hit and they weren't talking to us anymore.
People were tagging the head developer, just anyone, and you would just hear nothing, and then it would just be people saying like they're just canceling the game, they're just waiting a time.
You know it's bad when the most common thread you see in the various groups or Discord channels or the subreddit is, hey, is this game dead?
Yeah, no, that every time I would see those, I'd rush to say, I hope it, not yet, but I hope things turn around.
But then our salvation was announced.
Yeah, the thing that I thought would bring it back.
My Hero Academia. You know, the hottest anime of the past couple years.
Right, yeah.
Like, even bigger of a get than Naruto.
Right, yeah.
Just because it's more current.
Right, yes.
Huge get. Would instantly get a lot of people to buy it just because they see Deku on the cover. They're grabbing it.
Or All Might.
Yep. But I thought it was also really weird because at the same time, My Hero Academia was being announced for UFS.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which was awkward.
Yeah, that gave me some concerns.
And then nothing.
Yep, nothing again for a few months.
And then we find out, it turns out My Hero Academia, we're not getting it.
Only in Europe.
Only in select European countries.
Yes. And then
Italy,
who
France.
pre-ordered it got refunded in America.
Oh boy.
Which
we cursed Bushiroad out for their controversies with Detective Conan.
Yes.
Where certain regions they could not name it Detective Conan and had to use the terrible English name Case Closed.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was embarrassing. This is way worse.
Oh yeah. No, it was definitely a oof moment.
And where we are when we're recording this, that's where we stand. My Hero Academia's only coming to very, very select countries, and fans are quite outraged.
Yeah, because I think the biggest community or the biggest portion probably takes place in like North America.
Oh,
namely
for sure.
America. So it's definitely feels bad because it could have helped.
Were you going to buy it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like the main person in our community to like talk about it and bring it up. I bought the Naruto sets. I brought them to our locals and had everyone try it and just introduced them. I said, you don't have to like it, but look at this. And everyone really enjoyed it. So I kept buying it so that we could play.
So we absolutely would have bought several boxes of it, to fill out a couple of complete decks so we could play tons, and now we're not going to. You theoretically can import it from the countries where it is on sale, but it's going to cost more.
Right, yeah.
And that's it. Where we're standing, there's no sets after that are known.
Yeah.
Nothing. We have nothing. And fans have taken it into their own hands.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think the best thing to come out of this, being optimistic, is the possibility for fan sets. Because, for example, earlier this month, a fan set for Demon Slayer came out, and like they uploaded a PDF file so you could download all the cards, like print them out, cut them, and put them into like sleeves, and play that. And it's kind of made me realize that this is the next step for the game. Unfortunately, like, yeah, we can't get them to continue, but
this is the inherent risk involved when your card game relies on outside IPs.
yeah.
There are always going to be dramas. There are always going to be sets that you just cannot sell in certain regions. There are always going to be localization issues, this, that. It's a mess, which is why I think the Digimon card game, which will be coming out in a couple of months here, is going to be such a success. It's basically Chrono Clash, but much more stable.
And refined almost.
You don't have to worry about, well, does this license holder agree to it in this country, but not that country, but this country, but don't. It's all Digimon.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's going to be a significant improvement. One, we can actually, no matter what cards you buy for it, you can play them with each other.
Right, yeah. Where that was a big issue because Godzilla versus Naruto, when it was just those two, Naruto would just curb stomp Godzilla every time unless you played like this really janky, just inherently bad deck. And at that point, you knew it was a bad deck. So it's like
building a card game off of let's put a whole bunch of random IPs together is very, very dangerous. When you do it well and you can get only big, high-quality name IPs and not pay very much for them, like Y Schwartz or UFS does, they can be really, really good things for your card game for branding and for marketing. It's literally free marketing. Slap JoJo's Bizarre Adventures on your Y Schwartz packs. Congrats. You just sold way more Y Schwartz packs.
right. Exactly.
UFS is probably the king of this, the most consistently quality lineup of IPs. They got Yu Yu Hakusho, man.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's so cool. I don't even play UFS and I want them.
Yeah, exactly.
And Chrono Clash could do that, but there's inherent risk involved at the same time.
Right, 'cause...
And I don't think they anticipated the struggles they're going to have. First of all, you should never announce an IP until you know exactly where you're selling it.
Right, that seemed a little preemptive because they didn't say anything about the set. They just were like, My Hero Academia, that's the next set.
That leads to guaranteed disappointment. 100%. And the other thing is you need to be able to line out additional IPs in advance. What blows my mind is the game's published by Bandai, right? They shouldn't have any issues with licensing because of Bandai's huge, massive library of titles. Why can't they leverage that?
Like Pac-Man.
Why can't we have a Pac-Man set?
Exactly.
What they should have done is they should have kept a couple guaranteed IPs like Pac-Man or Dark Souls.
Maybe even God Eater.
Yeah, maybe.
Bandai.
Yeah. Keep them in their pocket for those dry spells because those dry spells absolutely are going to happen. And they should have said, hey, shoot, Corona's going on. We have literally 9 months with no new products. Let's put out a Katamari Damacy set.
Right. Oh, yeah. That would have been a good one, too.
But they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I can't really figure out why. I'm not a corporate lawyer, so maybe there's some issues there I haven't taken into account.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
There clearly was an issue with planning for the game.
It seemed very sporadic and in the moment. Like
General rule of thumb, if you're planning on launching your own card game to be sold in retail stores, you want to plan the first 2 to 3 years out in advance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I don't think they did.
No.
And part of me is wondering how intentional this was. Was Chrono Clash intentionally killed because the licensing for IPs was too expensive to be used as a tax write-off? But that's just a theory.
A card theory.
A card theory. I do think there's a lot of potential with the Chrono Clash system for the future for fan sets.
Yeah.
You and I were having a conversation earlier about fan sets we wanted.
Yeah, I was thinking of potentially like a Persona 5, namely, just because that's the biggest Persona game. But something like that, or like one I'd be interested in is Bleach, just any of that kind of
You
stuff.
guys can expect my Boku no Pico set in 2021.
Please don't.
Please do.
Sell it on your OnlyFans, okay?
Yeah. This is going to be interesting to see now that I don't know if Chrono Clash will be canceled anytime soon. More than likely, they're going to keep the IP in this limbo for a considerable amount of time to get rid of unsold stock. Because I don't know if you guys know this, there is a vast oversupply of Chrono Clash sets from previous sets. Even the original Naruto stuff, you can go and buy what used to be, $50 per box? 40?
$50, 40.
Right. You can get them for $20 each now. Easily. And there are hundreds of listings. There is an overstock right now. And I think the reason the game just hasn't been announced for discontinuation, there's only one of two reasons. Reason one, they have some big IP they've been chasing and they've almost nailed. They've almost bagged it, and they're hoping that they can, next month blow our minds with some crazy IP we never saw coming. Mm-hmm. Or option two, they know the game's dead, but they're trying to get rid of that extra stock. Option number two is probably the case. If you want an example of a game doing this, look no further than MetaX.
What's that?
MetaX was a game created by a Panini, I believe, which was the same concept of mashup card game. It had four sets. They had Justice League, Green Lantern, and Attack on Titan.
Okay.
And then there was another one planned that never saw the light of day. I don't remember what it was. And that was 2017. To this day, they haven't announced the game is canceled. There hasn't been a release in 3 years, and they never announced it is canceled because they wanted to sell unsold stock. Which, that's a really, really crappy thing to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If your goal as a company, I'm not necessarily saying guaranteed Chrono Clash is doing the exact same thing. I'm only giving it a probably. They are trying to get rid of their stock onto consumers who don't know any better.
Yeah, which is an unfortunate way to do it, but I mean, they gotta recoup what they can.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other thoughts?
I guess just going back to the fan sets, that's what I think is gonna keep the game alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Will and I want to
after it
play
ends.
Chrono Clash till the end of time. So if you guys out there can keep pumping out fan sets for it for us to play,
Yeah, maybe we can do something with the Demon Slayer set, like, because it's on Untap, so maybe we can do a...
you guys keep them coming because that's the future for Chrono Clash. We're gonna build it ourselves.
Yeah, because they even did that with the Naruto CCG. I think there's... Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's 2 or
There's
3
definitely
fan
some
sets
fan
that have
sets.
been officially, like, not officially, but they've been printed out and sold booster boxes
It's cool
of
stuff.
them, and it was very interesting to see that, and I hope they can do that with this game, because I think the mechanics and the gameplay are just very fun and unique. So
And if the end does come for Chrono Clash, which it could not. I'm not a seer who can see into the future. It doesn't mean the game was bad. You know, some people look at a game and purely base how good it is on how long it lasted.
right, and that's not entirely fair,
And that is, no, it's not remotely fair.
because it's like, okay, it lasted 3 months, but
I think the most positive thing to come out of Chrono Clash, though, outside of a healthy community full of dedicated people making awesome content for a game abandoned by its creators, is how it is going to inspire future game designers.
yeah, because I did like how the icons kind of helped for more people to play it.
Yeah, the icons are a double-edged sword. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're really cool, and
Yeah.
they actually make things quite a bit simpler, but they do slightly increase the learning curve.
Right, because then you have to hand the person a entire like pamphlet on what each icon does,
And some of them
like,
are kind of
rulings.
easy to mix up.
yeah,
You know, there's also the fact that they do cause the cards to need to be a little less flexible in how they're written. You know, there's inherently less types of abilities you can do. You can't do very many wacky off-the-wall abilities.
right, because some of them just won't work together.
But it's not a concept necessarily worth abandoning in the same regard.
Right, like maybe refine it and come back to it again at some point, hopefully.
I'm kind of mixed on that mechanic personally, but I
Yeah.
think the time system is one of the most ingenious things ever created.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it will absolutely live on for years upon years upon years.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that too.
Yeah, and I also really like how Chrono Clash handled its extra deck mechanics. Mm-hmm. I think it was one of the best systems for a mix of cards being really cool, Timmy cards slapped down to the board, while still feeling balanced.
Right, like it was like, oh, I got a big boy, but it's not just I have one extra that card that means I win.
Yep.
It just helps you for a little bit, because sometimes you play it and you can't even do anything with it because it's the other person's turn again.
Well, I think we're about done here. The most important thing for you guys out there, please make sure to let us know your thoughts. We're just two idiots who have barely slept, who just wanted to get our thoughts out about a game we really care about. Your thoughts are probably better than our thoughts, so share them in the comments or on our Discord server. Also, we've got this really nice studio here. It's expensive to keep the lights running.
Just a little bit.
We don't even have AC in here, and we're roasting. So please make sure if you've got some money to spare, you can support us on our Patreon and get videos like this early. Or if you don't want to give us money directly but would still like to help us out, you can buy cards from TCG Player using our affiliate code, link in the description, and a cut of the proceeds will go to us. And they do have Chrono Clash cards, so
Yes, they do. So
go buy some Chrono Clash, support the game, and support us.
Yeah.
It's a win-win-win-win.
yeah, it's a hextuple win.
Yep. And check out our Instagram.
Yeah, man, spicy content there.
Yeah. Will, you're supposed to say goodbye.
Deuces.
See.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.